Hey guys, I'm over here with Jeff. With Jeff from Green Street Joinery. This table's on wheels.
That's good for that. There's a logging caster right there.
Yeah, I got it. I'll do it. And when we were at Makers Camp a week or two ago, Jeff was showing me this finish. He's going to tell us all about it. But the cool thing is, it dries with UV light instantly.
Yep.
So why don't you tell us about it, and then maybe I'll bring the camera over and get some close shots and all.
Sure.
But tell us everything there is to know, because you've been using it for a while now.
Yeah, probably 5 weeks, something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is a company called Vesting, and it's a Norwegian company. No, it's not Norwegian.
Say whatever it is then.
It's a Danish company.
There we go. It's a Danish company.
So they're a finishing company out in Holland, and they make hard wax oils, and they make some other finishes. They make a water-based lacquer, and this LED finish, along with a single coat finish that is similar to like a Rubio monocoat. It's the same idea, hard wax oil. So this is the hard wax oil, and it has some additives in it that allow it to be cured with an LED light. So they call it their LED hard wax oil. We're gonna put some finish on these samples. It's the LED hard wax oil from Vesting Finishes. And this is a small version of the light. So you see it has a big LED cob in there, cordless. So once we put the finish on, it'll cure it instantly. So these pieces have been sanded to 120. With these types of finishes, you don't want to sand too high because you need to get good penetration. And if you sand too high, it'll clog up the pores of the wood. So the way that you apply this is with obviously you want to stir it like any finish. This is the pure, they call it. So it's basically just a clear. Has a little bit of an amber tone to it, but they make this in like 40 colors, just like the single coat finish that they make. So we use these little 3M Scotch-Brite application pads. And the process is to, work it into the grain, and then you wipe it off. We'll hit it with the light. Then you give it a really light scuff sand, and you do another coat. So I guess we'll put it on all four and go through the process. We'll do the walnut first. We'll put finish on all of them, and then hit them with the light. The finish is 0 VOC, so that's one of the main reasons we like this type of finish. Is it's environmentally friendly, it doesn't stink up the shop, and we don't need a finishing room to work in. There's a lot of different ways you can put this on. Zach, who is the gentleman at Vesting USA, he actually uses a cordless Graco sprayer, so he can finish cabinet doors and stuff like that really quickly. You do end up maybe with a little more waste doing it that way. After you apply the finish with a little pad, you want to wipe off the excess like you would with any hard wax oil, and get the surface pretty dry. So just use some paper towels. So essentially up to this point, it's the same process as applying a hard wax oil. And at this point, with the hard wax oil, you'd be done. You just let this, cure for the full cure time, and you're good to go. We wiped the 4 samples, and we're getting ready to pull out the LED light. You want to make sure that you close your can of finish, otherwise, it will harden. So anything that has this finish on it, you'll see, I'll even do it on this little stir stick, it will harden. So even on your gloves, if you have some on your hands, you can hit it with the light and clean your hands off really. So put the lid on this and put it to the side and break out the light. This is a very small light. The actual light is probably about 10 by 24 by 10, and it has a big power source, and the light's actually tethered. So it's a heavy duty piece of equipment. It's not cheap. This light is about $700, so it's not something that you're going to use casually. If you're getting into this system, it's you have to be into it serious, because it's an investment to get in, but you'll see when we hit it with the light, why it's so valuable. So you don't want to stare into this, and they say the ideal height is 2.5 centimeters above the wood, And again, anything that this hits, it's going to harden. So I'll show you right on this. That's hard.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
So we'll go over these pieces and hit them with a scuff sand, and we can do a second coat. Now all 4 of those are completely dry. We put on 1 coat. You have to do a little bit of a scuff sand, not even a sand, I wouldn't even call it a sand. Literally no pressure, just knocking down any of those really high spots. This is 220. I think they recommend 220, 320, something in that range. The same process for the second coat. You're going to put it on, wipe it off, and then hit it with the light. This is a 2 or 3 coat finish. They do have different colors, but I think they recommend that the top 2 coats are of the clear.
What would you typically use for client furniture, 2 or 3 coats?
Well, with how fast this is, I really don't think there's any reason to not do 3.
I agree with that.
The beauty of this, when we use an oil, like a hard wax oil finish, it becomes a dust magnet in the shop because it kind of remains oily feeling for a while. So with this, I mean, you felt it, John, it's totally dry. It feels completely dry to the touch. So, you know, we can keep working in the shop and not worry about getting our project lodged with dust. That's really the biggest selling point for us. Close your can, and we'll hit it with the light again. That's it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to test this out. This is almost like the size of a coaster, so
Yeah.
I'll check it out. You have a coupon code or anything you want to mention with Green Street Joinery?
Yeah, so you could save 10%. American Craftsman is a coupon code.
Okay.
Go along with the podcast, American Craftsman Podcast. And RPM Coating Solutions is the website.
Okay.
So they're
I'll put it in the description.
Yeah, the sister company investing. They're in Pennsylvania, so they're close.
Okay.
Actually, we had the owner come out here, Zach. Nice
Really?
guy.
Maybe
Yeah,
he'll come to my shop.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually ask if I can borrow this. We'll see. Maybe I can borrow it and we'll go back and forth with this this light. I also want to mention your podcast. So if you're not familiar with the American Craftsman podcast, I'm really enjoying it. Rob's off camera over here. But Rob was a history teacher. Jeff's just a wealth of knowledge. And what I like is they're doing the history of American furniture.
Yeah.
And wanting to focus more on design with my furniture, I'm finding it really inspiring. So if you haven't listened to it, I'll put a link in the description for that, and definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun the second season. We're learning all kinds of stuff, find stuff out about myself that I didn't even know.
I know. Turns out you're related.
You have to listen.
Yeah, you have to. He's got lineage in the furniture history of America.
Back to the 1600s.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, guys. See you next time.